Thank you. First, I'd like to thank Larry, Dan, and Mickey Tricoli, because without them I wouldn't be here. I would probably still have a great life down in South Florida with absolutely no responsibility whatsoever and having some fun. Thank you. Okay, so steps to becoming a professional trader. Many of you have heard me speak of these many times. Simple stuff. This stuff is not rocket science. If you think it is, you're thinking entirely too much. You don't need an MBA. You don't need a finance degree. You don't even need to get out of school. Honestly, it's that easy. You could give me any of your kids, and I could teach them this like it's a video game, and they will probably be more successful than you were because they don't think like you do. They make it really simple. They understand it, and they don't try to make something out of it that it's not. So, step number 1, stop committing financial suicide. Whether you guys believe this or not, you do this to yourselves every day. You are your own greatest enemy. I do this every single day. I get a new crop of students every single month. It's the same story, different person. You got to get out of your own way. Pride and ego will kill you in this business. You have got to let go of your need to be right. There is no wrong or right. There is minimizing your loss, maximizing your gain in this business, nothing else. What I try to tell people all the time is this: none of you in this room know what I'm thinking right at this moment. So how are you going to know what hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of other entities are doing on different time frames with different methods at the same time? You don't. You have to let it go. The only thing you can do is read the market, identify the market, jump on it, and the market stops you out when it stops you out, because the market's always right. We're not. It's that simple. I know nobody believes this, but that's the way it is, whether you want to believe it or not. Slow down the flow of blood. What does that mean? Start to use what you see and not what you think you know. Believe me when I tell you, this business is not in any way, shape, or form what you think it is. It is not news. It's not an earnings report. It's a whale on the floor who decides to ram the price up or cut your knees out. That's what moves this market. The idea here is to identify what you see and jump on that train. I tell people all the time, you got a choice. You can get run over the bus or get on it and let it take you somewhere. It's entirely up to you. I've never seen a contrarian in this business who could prove to me they ever made money. They're always right after they're dead broke. It's true. Never seen it. Stop the bleeding. This is maybe the most important step of these 10 steps. You have to make a choice to be successful. And as easy as that sounds, it's difficult, because you have to understand everything that you've been doing up to this point has not been working because you wouldn't be here. You have to let it go. I'm not saying everything is wrong. The problem is the idea is wrong. Some things may work. You may remember that one trade that worked out that one time when you hit it, but you don't remember when it lost 90 other times. You've got to be right. You've got to be right. It's never going to work. You have to forget it and understand there's another way. Everybody in this room, you've been in my rooms. You got to run into the emergency room, you're bleeding out. You don't want a guy working on you, it's his first day in medical school. You want the head surgeon, right? Don't think you're going to come into this business in one day and light the world on fire. You're going to light your account up. And it's going to be gone because there's guys like me on the other side leaning on you who are just waiting for this. You just got to let it go and make a choice to be successful and forget the things that got you to this point. Repair the injury. Remove the bad habits while you're gaining confidence in learning this method. I've done it. I know where every one of you are coming from. I always thought that if I just use this and then I could put that together with it, I can do this and it'll be the magic button. Wrong. It doesn't work. We do the same exact thing over and over and over again. That builds confidence in what we do. It's when you start getting a little cocky and rowdy because you won a couple of trades, you start throwing your little twist in on it or using your fancy indicator, and you keep using it until you're back down to zero. This happens every month with everybody. There's not one person in any one of my rooms who has not private messaged me with the same exact story. You stick to what you're doing, you build confidence with it. When you build confidence with what you're doing, you stop the bad habits. The bad habits are what get you killed. It's not the learning the method. The learning the method teaches you what to do over and over and over again until it becomes second nature. When it becomes second nature, you're not doing the bad stuff anymore. I know this sounds very simple, but this is what I do every day. How many of you are in my rooms? Do you ever see me throw stuff out of left field that you've never heard of before? Do I jump on everybody exactly the same way when they bring up the red or the blue bars? And am I equally mean to everyone? Okay? And there's a reason, because I'm sitting there waiting for the blue or the red bar thing to come. Because I know it's coming. But the bars are blue. What'd you do? You didn't study. Because you seem to forget rule number one, you're not in a trend. And this is what I mean. Until you learn the rules and build confidence using it, these bad habits are going to decimate your account and, more importantly, destroy your psychological capital, which is the worst thing that can happen. Money you can put back. You can make money. When you're psychologically broken, game's over. When I was a professional fighter, that was my game. When I started, there were no weight classes. There were 30-minute time limits. I couldn't beat up most of these guys physically. I had to break them mentally. And when you break them, game's over, no matter how big and strong they are. This is the same way. Don't break yourselves. Make your recovery and learn. Bad habits are gone. Learn from your mistakes. Each and every one of you have done this. You start getting confidence with the system. You're not getting stopped out for full stops. You're making a few ticks here, mitigating your risk. And then you're about to do that. Oh, I missed it! And you stop. Because that's what got you in trouble in the first place. You let it go. The bus analogy. You miss one, another one's coming along. Guys, these markets trade 24 hours. There's trades in every single time frame. Just because one doesn't happen when you're not watching it doesn't mean another one's not going to happen. You've got to let it go. You cannot impose your will on the market. The market will break you. I've tried. Believe me, I am the angriest, meanest person I know. And I've tried to break this market for years. Doesn't happen. It broke me several times. I thought I was so smart one time, I lost $78,000 in one trade. And I'm a genius. Boy, am I smart. Which goes right back to Dan O'Brien. What if I just know it's going up? I just double down. Because I knew it. And I was right. Until I was wrong. Okay? Learn from your mistakes. Don't do it again. That's what makes you different. You evolve. Mistakes are learning experiences. They don't define you as a person. If they do, you've got bigger problems than I can help you with. Learn TA Trader Successfully, the software. Or whatever software you're using, doesn't matter. Mistakes on software are still losses most of the time. You guys see me do it all the time. I'll look to limit order. I hit a market order. I missed a thing. Now I got to do it all over again. Well, you don't see me just jump right in again. I got to wait for a signal to happen. Nobody gets more angry at themselves than me. Because I'm way above this, because I'm so cool I don't make mistakes. Until I do, and then everybody else in the room is pissed off at me because now they're not going to take it either, because now I got to make them wait at least another half hour to jump into something. So, you know it, Mary Beth. So learn the software, guys. This is just as important as anything else. It's a tool. You don't use a screwdriver when you need a hammer. Learn the software. Use the method. What's that? That's the methodology, the software together, okay? Don't think you know it and say, I'm going live, man. No, because you're going to lose. Let me tell you what happens to people who think they know what they're doing. When I used to train fighters, I'd have guys come in the gym all the time. They all wanted to fight pro. Okay, what have you done? Well, I did this. Or you never even had an amateur? No, but I'm a tough guy. I would feed them to my 5'8", 115-pound girlfriend who would choke them senseless and then wake them up and ask Princess if he wanted to go again. And they would never come back because they thought they knew what they were doing. Now, she woke them up. The market ain't going to wake you up. The market, after you get choked out, is going to start kicking you when you're down. That's when the fun begins for the market. All right? You need to practice the method. You need to practice the software. You need to do it until you see it happening minutes before the vertical move even happens. I show it to you guys every day. I call stuff out hours before it happens. I'm not the smartest guy on the planet. I've just done this so many times, I know what not to do. I've screwed it up every way possible. Trust me on this. The market's going up, down, or sideways. That's it. I tell you guys this all the time, and you laugh at me like I'm holding something back. Well, I'm not. It's what it's doing. It's going up, down, or sideways, and that's it. And maybe I'm a master at recognizing the painfully obvious, but to me, that's what it is. It's simple. Right? So, use the method. Practice the software. Get used to it. Become experienced with the method. Accept your losses. Guess what? You're going to lose. And this is shocking because every one of you has succeeded at every single thing you've ever done in your life the first time. I know. All of you have. Okay? Doesn't work that way. Be very happy when you get stopped out, because that means you were either really, really wrong and you only lost this much, or you were really, really right and got stopped out trailing a boatload of money. Okay? It's very, very simple. More importantly than anything, you need to get right back on the horse and requalify from step one. It's what I do every single time I get stopped out. I just don't care, because there's going to be another one. You start looking again. What step am I in? Where am I at? Can I take note, walk away, take a walk around the block, come back. Don't stare at the computer forever. You're going to drive yourself insane. Become the master. Sort of was front-running the last comment. You can't care because you know it works. Look at Bruce Lee. He just got his ass kicked. He ain't quitting. He knows it works. He's just going to keep on going. I was telling a story to some of the guys outside. When I was a professional fighter, I knew I can hit really, really hard. So that's what I started with. And if I didn't knock you out the first time, I just kept on hitting you. I remember one fight, I hit some guy so hard, I broke my hand. You know what I did? Then I started hitting him with my elbow. Because I knew sooner or later he was going to stop. And he did. But becoming a master is not just believing. It's using the method to such a degree that you know it's going to happen. It doesn't affect you. You know it's going to work. You've got complete control of yourself. And when you get stopped, you just go right back in the game again. It's that simple. Become a professional. This means you never need me again, because I've done my job. I've broken you of the bad habits, and you've allowed yourself to learn what we're teaching you in a manner that you can do it. I'm not here to make you a mini-me. I'm here to make you the best you I can. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't listen to what anybody else tells you. You want to know the only people's trades that matter in those rooms? Ours. Dan O'Brien, me, Charlie Moon, Scott Bauer, Steve Lee. Ed Moya. You want to know why? Because we're putting him up in front of everybody. Our names and reputations are up every time we put something on the screen. You believe that. Everybody in here has seen me lose. You've seen me win. Outside of that, don't believe anybody. Do it for yourself. Because what does somebody else's alleged success have to do with you? Nothing. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. When you concentrate on what you are doing, you will succeed. You can't care about anybody else. Because when you go broke, that guy ain't going to give you more money to start your account up all over again. Trust me. You have to take care of yourselves. And if you do all these things, I will help you. And you will be shocked that if you just do exactly what we tell you to do, how much quicker this will happen. Many of you in this room have been through this whole thing. Everybody thought they were going to do it their way. Okay. And in 4 months, when you come back, because you're going to come back and call me, I'm still going to help you. And I'm not even going to tell you I told you so. Guys, believe me, we failed for real. We've blown up and we know exactly what not to do. You're not going to be perfect every time. But you can do this. You just got to let go of what you thought you knew and accept what you now know. And don't try to get blood out of that last rock that you bought who promised you were going to become a millionaire overnight. I mean, I don't know about any of you. I think I've been pretty honest with you about what this is about. This is a grind, and this is no fun. Even the Scott Bauer used it. This is not sexy. This is not Wall Street. But if you do this, and you take your time, and you exercise some patience and discipline, you will be successful beyond your wildest dreams and freedom and anything else you want to do, because now you're your own boss. And you can make as much as you want. It's entirely up to you. Everybody my whole life told me I was never going to be anything. You were going to be dead or you were going to be in jail by the time you were 25 years old. Well, I'm still here. A couple of world titles and a pretty darn good job in Chicago, I think, proved that. Because I didn't listen to them. I did what was best for me. And the reason I'm here to help you is because nobody ever helped me. I know what you're going through. And we'll help you. You just got to choose to do it. All right, we're going to move on to how to do this. And I'm sure many of you have gone through it. Well, too bad you're going through it again. How about that? Trading Advantage Simulator Trading Program. Larry said I would be going a little bit more in depth than I'm going to. Everybody's got a different way of doing things. I speak to students all the time and they say, well, should I talk to you or should I talk to Larry? I said, one isn't better than the other. We've just got to figure out which one works best for you. Larry loves the time thing. He wants to be consistent. Bang, bang, bang. I'm more rigid. I'm more of, you don't get to go to 3 until you get past 2. Because I can tell every one of you right now, if you can't trade 2, there's no way you can trade 5. Because when those numbers start flipping, you will freak out. That I can tell you for a fact. So let's start from the beginning. And this is going to save most of you a lot of pain, blues, and agony. You can only take 3 hours, or 3 trades in a 24-hour period, maximum. If you take 1 today, you don't get 5 tomorrow. 3. Beginning of every 24 hours, they expire at the end of 24 hours. You do not have to trade 100 times a day to be successful in this business. You just got to pick a few good ones. You're going to start off by trading 2 contracts. That's how we start. Cover and run, we get out. Everybody always wants to know how to get out. Well, you're going to start off with 2. You're going to cover and run to get out. After your first 20 points, I use points, not dollars. I want to make this like a game. Because when people start thinking about money, it does really strange things to them. I have no idea why, but it does. So you're just going to use points. Some people are dollar motivated. That's fine. Not everybody in here is different. Substitute $1,000 for 20 points if you like doing dollars. That's fine. After your first 20 points or $1,000 of profit, you will add another contract. Now you're trading 3 contracts. You have just earned your way to 3, meaning you've taken money from somebody else and put it in your account. You're playing with the house's money now. Your goal is to get to at least break even, so your money's no longer on the line. You're halfway there. Your next 20 points in profit, you add another contract, you're now up to 4. You're break even. You can take your own money out if you feel like it right now. You can leave it in. You can do whatever you want depending on your margin size, whoever you're with. You're now trading 4 contracts. Now it starts to get real because those numbers start flipping real fast now with 4 contracts. Your next 80 points, or I should say 40 points total on this contract, you get to go to your next contract. That's 5. Okay, excuse me. Okay, there you go. You're now trading 4 contracts. After you make the next 40 points, you add another one. Now you're up to 5. And if you thought 4 was going to start stacking up fast, 5 is even worse. This is where you start getting nervous. You start getting a little dry in the throat, a little twitchy, start getting scared. Well, let me tell you something. There's no difference between 2 and 5. That same reversion of the mean, that same slow Momo, that same make or break is exactly the same with 5 as it was with 2. You're the one. Remember, we went back to what I just went over. It's all in your own head. You're doing this to yourselves. There's no difference. But if you don't earn your way from 2 to 5, you're never going to be able to trade 5 by itself. You will freak out. Trust me. I had no idea what I was doing in an oil pit. And let me tell you, when those numbers start adding up, it's not fight or flight, it's freeze. And it gets worse. You have to earn your way. When you earn your way up, you're callousing yourself to the changes in numbers. And it's not just going to happen 2, 3, 4, and 5. Many of you have been through it. You go from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 3, 3 to 2, back and forth for 6 months where you're just cursing my name. But this is the way it really works. Okay? You're now trading 5 contracts. After your next 40 points, you add another. You're up to 6. You stop. Now you're ready to go. You're going to call me. And because all you guys are here, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Maybe some of you haven't gone through this. But once you achieve this program, there's no difference between this and live. So now you cannot tell me there's no way you can do this. There's no difference. It's exactly the same thing. It's the callousing yourself and getting beat up every day, going from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 3, 3 to 2, back and forth. That's what grinds the bad habits out of you, because you get so sick and tired of getting stuck at 2 contracts over and over and over again. You read over your notes. Why did I do that? Idiot. I'm a moron. That's what happens. And sooner or later, pain makes believers out of everybody. I can beat on you all day long. That's not going to make you change. You've got to learn from your mistakes. And this is the only way you're going to do it, by actually putting all these steps together and doing it. It's like Larry said, all the visualizing in the world is not going to help you until you get out there and do it. And this is the only way you're going to do it. You've got to put this method to work. You've got to make it your own, and you have to take responsibility for everything that you do. Because if you don't, it's never going to work. You're in this alone, and we're your best friends. We're the ones that are going to help you, but you've got to do it. I can't do it for you. All right, questions, guys?
What time do you classic? What market do you trade?
What market don't I trade? I trade crude oil, gold, things of that nature. Okay, excuse me. Well, excuse me. You know, we have cover and run. I'm sorry about that. I got lost here. We'll run through this fast, and I'll take the questions again. Do it real fast. I can run through this because, well, I only do this every day. How to get out. Use cover and run. This goes back to 2 contracts, 5 contracts. It's all the same thing. Let's say you're trading 2 contracts. You take one off. You let the second one run. Really simple, right? Easy. You keep on trailing it until the market takes you out. You don't know where the market's going to stop. I can't tell you how many times I just knew where the market was going to stop, closed it out, it kept on going, smashed computer screens because it was their fault. Destroyed computer, absolutely their fault. Could never be me. And I lost out. You cannot make money in this market unless you let your winners run and you mitigate your loss. Now let's go to 3 contracts. Same exact thing. Same limit orders. But instead of 1 taking off, you're going to take off 2. Change your stop from 3 to 1. Let it run. Let it keep going. It's very simple. There's no difference in money management. You want to take more contracts off in the beginning and lock that profit in place. You're going to soon find out that your account is building quickly because that's where the bread and butter is made. Scott Bauer hitting singles, doubles. If you're a home run hitter, yeah, you know, you get a lot of headlines, but you strike out a lot. And you usually strike out at the most inopportune time. Average hitters, guys who hit for average, they go to the Hall of Fame. Trust me. 4 contracts. Same thing as 2 contracts. Now it's just 2 and 2. Very simple stuff. Same limit order. Price hits your limit order, 2 come off, you change your stop from 4 to 2. Move it to break even, just keep trailing until the market takes you out. It's the easiest thing you're ever going to do. I can't tell you how many times Dan O'Brien and I sit in that trading room and tell everybody, well, not everybody because none of you will listen to us, but the 2 of us about how brilliant we are. That, man, you know something? I'm moving my stop up to here because this thing's and we get stopped out before we even finish the sentence. And you want to know what happens? If we would have left it at the algo stop, we'd have been in that thing for 4 days. It's a true story. And then we just do it all over again because we're that smart. Okay? It's simple stuff, guys. You don't know where the market's going to stop. Only the market knows. We're always wrong. The market's always right. Just let it go. Follow the method. When you follow the method, it takes all your emotions out of the market. 6 and 6, same thing. 3 and 3. It's very simple stuff. After that, you're ready to go live. And when you're ready to go live, we'll see if you're ready to go live. But that's another story for another time because then it goes to chapter 2 and everybody starts calling me up again telling me what bonehead mistakes they made. This is a phone call. I don't know what's going on, man. I went live and I did okay and I got up to 5 contracts and then I started breaking the rules and I gave it all back and I said, so what'd you do wrong? I broke the rules. I said, so why are you calling me? You just answered your own question. Oh, okay. Then I never hear from them again. Everything's fine. And those are the dozens of people in the room that aren't talking when you're all in there because they're too busy stalking trades. Simple. You got to learn from your own mistakes. Okay, now questions.
2 questions. Number 1.
Only one.
Only 1.
Okay, 2.
All right. 1 lot. Decide.
There is no difference. Let's say if you start off with a 1.5 point stop on a reversion of the mean with 1 contract, long, goes in your favor, 1.5 points. You got 2 choices. Close it, move it to break even, and keep trailing it accordingly. Why would you take more than you're risking if you don't have to? I will tell all of you one thing. None of you in this room are the Dan O'Brien. He is the best at what he does. He's put his time in. When you figure out the cover and run, and you can do it in your sleep, you go ahead and do whatever you want to do. Because you're going to start reading the market probably better than we are. Because you're only concentrating on one thing while we're teaching rooms. When you get to that point, after you've gotten so sick and tired of breaking even and not losing, it's up to you then. But I will tell you one thing, if you risk more than you're actually being able to qualify what you can make, it's going to get ugly. And it's going to be a painful, painful, painful way out. Slow. Make sense?
So, yeah, that kind of answers the second question.
Of course it did. I'm a big believer in just letting things go. I don't... I'll tell you guys about one trade that I had when I started working, and I was literally living in the office when I was doing overnight stuff still. I put on a trade. I sold the S&P at like 1,090. 3 contracts with a 3-point stop. I left the office probably at 8 o'clock at night, I went out and just did horrible things to myself. And I came back the next day, 11 o'clock, I was still in it. That thing puked its guts out. And 83.25 points later, I was still trailing it. Now, you know what would have happened if I stayed there and watched it? I would have probably got off at about a 5-point profit and said, woohoo! Gone out, had a great time, and had nothing left.